So, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year's to you, Kyle.
It's 2018. But looking back on 2017, what were your favourite films of last year, do you reckon?
That was a good segue.
Yeah?
I like that.
Did you like that segue?
I wasn't expecting
I was practicing
practiced
it.
that in the bathroom before.
Yeah, in the shower.
I could tell.
Yeah, totally, not obvious, but yeah. Anyway, so what were your favourite films of last year, guys?
Bridget,
do you want to start off? Like, go off with your first one.
Okay, so feel free to join in to go as well, because we've overlapped here.
We need to anticipate. So you have to say the first movie, and then I'm gonna jump in like, whoa, that's mine as well. So go on. 3, 2, 1, go.
So one of my favourite films of last year was Baby Driver.
Whoa, same.
Oh wow!
How about that?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I liked Baby Driver too. It was.
Yeah,
it's not on my top 3 that we're picking. We're doing a top 3 pick.
I feel
by
like
the
we
way,
should have mentioned that.
We should have mentioned this beforehand.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping it right in. So each of us, the 3 of us, is going to choose 3 films that we thought really resonated with us, or we thought were the best of the year.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bridget, keep going.
Yep. So, Baby Driver is directed by Edgar Wright. It stars Ansel Elgort, Lily James, and unfortunately also Kevin Spacey. So, my initial thoughts after walking out of the cinema, having just seen it, were that it was just a really good, entertaining film. Like, that was kind of it. Like, it's like the type of movie that I would be able to watch over and over again, which for the record I've seen it 3 times.
Damn.
But just, I don't know, just its use of soundtrack as well really stood out to me. I mean, especially in the opening sequences when it was coordinated with the visuals. I feel like that really elevated the film from being just another action movie to something that was, a bit more fun and memorable, I guess.
That was the thing that was interesting about it, was that the action sequences and all the actions in the movie were sort of timed to the music.
Yeah.
Before they wrote the movie, someone, I can't remember who it was, if it was Edgar Wright or a producer.
I think it was Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright produced it.
Oh,
yeah.
They just had a disc of these songs that they wanted to use, and they're like, let's make a movie to it.
Yeah, and you can tell when you watch it, it's like, oh well, these songs feel like they were picked before they wrote the script.
Yeah, it was made for the music.
Yeah, exactly. It's
sort of like a musical in the sense. It kind of works as a musical in that way, but in the same way that, the dancing is timed to the music. But...
and the action sequences as well.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that where Baby Driver works the best, and its best scenes, are the ones that involve, the stylistic choreography and like a cool song playing, and like a sense of desperation and tension, and like a few too many close calls. So like the opening sequence, and like there's another scene which I really like, which is when Baby is like running away after his like totaled his car.
Right, when Jamie Foxx died, was it?
Bats. Yeah.
Bats.
I thought it was really cool how, in a movie which is about a getaway driver, Edgar Wright was able to make one of the climactic scenes of the film not even like incorporate a car, like when he was just running.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was still really cool, because it still felt really like frantic and desperate, and it was so engaging. I was actually on the edge of my seat.
I was the part where Baby Driver's running from John Hamm and his wife or something.
His name isn't Baby Driver.
Well, when Baby
was
running, I didn't realize I said that. That scene where Baby was running from John Hamm and his girlfriend or something, like in the parking lot shopping center. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool.
So to go, was there anything else you wanted to add to that on top of all of what Bridget said?
I still have more.
Oh, she's got more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll need to steal that real quick.
Okay. Sure.
Bad Genius.
They're passing notes.
It was good. That's all it says.
No, it doesn't. I wrote like 3 pages.
Yeah, and that's what I got from it. So, no.
Bridget came prepared for this.
I really did.
Tagore and I didn't. So just going as we... Yeah.
It's to do with us being guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Driver was one of my really favourite movies of last year, because it was just so different from all the crap that was coming out that year. What I really liked about Baby Driver is that it was really vibrant. And when I say that, it's probably in like every aspect of the film. So like in its music, in its action, in its like colour grading even.
Yeah,
It was really vibrant.
Definitely.
And it was like refreshing, because it was like non-stop but well-paced and a good level of action and everything. It was well balanced. So that's why I really liked it.
I liked Baby Driver when I saw it and even the second time, it's good. I think it's a solid film. I don't know.
I still need to see it the second time.
Personally, it's I think it's good, but I don't know. It's not one of my favorites of last year.
Well, okay, Kyle.
Speaking of one of my favorite films of last year.
Beautiful segue.
There we go. One of them was The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh no, I didn't really like that. Actually, speaking of my favorite films, do you like that segue, Kyle? It was a bit jagged. It was a bit jagged and a bit bumpy, but really we got there.
It was the smoothest segue.
I think it was better than mine, to be honest. Like, come on, you should be running the show here.
Mine was really subtle.
Yeah.
Go on about your willow tree wicked... what was it called?
The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh, something. This basically... I said willow tree.
I was like, what are you on about?
I thought you said killing of a sacred tree, so I was like, okay.
Okay, anyway. Killing of a Sacred Deer. If you guys didn't know already, one of my favorite horror films is The Shining. And I like that movie a lot in the way it deals with horror because it's very psychological and it doesn't really explain too much of what the threat actually is, and compared to other horror films where it's just a lot of jump scares and they basically explain the monster or creature and how to beat it, or how to kill it. This is more, it's subtle and it's very twisted and disturbing, and it
pinches you on the butt instead of slapping you in the face.
Exactly. Or it's like a grinding pinch.
It's like a grinding.
It's like if the pinch
like a purple nipple, but on your ass.
But it just gets tighter and tighter every time, instead of just like a slap
in the face.
which is just like it's done.
I know. And then it's over.
We don't need that audio.
I think that's a good analogy.
I think it's a pretty good analogy. Me too. Anyway. The reason that's basically the reason why I like Killing of a Sacred Deer is because it deals with horror the same way that The Shining does. It's a horror film, but it's very psychological. The director is this Greek director, and he has this very weird imagination. And apparently, the film is actually based off ancient Greek play.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And it's just got a lot to do with blood sacrifices, or that whole term of an eye for an eye.
As you do.
And Colin Farrell, he plays this surgeon who operates on this guy while he was drunk, and the guy dies who he was operating on. Anyway, he feels bad, and so he starts seeing that guy's son, and they start to form a relationship. But as the kid becomes more entangled with the family, it starts to reveal something more sinister there, and it's just very well done, and it left me chilled, which is, I think, what a horror movie should be able to do. I remember when the film ended, the audience just had this big they had to they couldn't breathe the entire film because it was so it was audible. You couldn't not hear it. And so it was just great to see the audience also around me just get so entranced by it and just be able to, finally have this sigh of relief when the movie's done.
Yeah.
I really recommend it. I really do. And I think I don't want to give too much away with that because I think it's better if you go how I did, sort of blind but trust me.
You gave a good
sort of synopsis. I think it didn't give too much away.
And
but
I
it's
spoiled Colin Farrell.
It's very some weird stuff happens to Colin Farrell's kids. And it's very disturbing. It's also got a really good sense of humor. Funnily enough, it's this dark, twisted sense of humor, but it just comes out of nowhere, and it's sort of hilarious when it does because you just have no reaction other than to laugh at it. But yeah, definitely go see that if you have the chance. Yeah, it's one of my favorites and probably one that you guys haven't really heard about.
I mean, you've talked to me about it before.
Yeah, but
so
I mean, probably like the general audience probably hasn't really.
You weren't talking to us.
I'm amongst the general audience.
I
wasn't sure.
I was talking to you guys, but also, I think I was clarifying that the general audience probably hasn't seen it. Anyway, to go, what was another one of your favorite films?
The Black Film? No, not the Black Film.
The Black Film.
The Black Film. I bet you can guess what it is, guys.
You probably can.
You probably can.
That's kind of sad.
12 Years a Slave. No.
That came out last year.
That came out like a couple years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
No. It was Get Out.
Get Out.
By, not Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan
Yes,
Peele.
Jordan Peele.
It was Jordan Peele.
I always get Michael Key and Jordan Peele mixed up.
Right.
Always get
Key and Peele.
Yeah, Get Out. It brought such a new aspect to horror and comedy Although there wasn't so much comedy.
It was a good social commentary, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
These are
very.
all things I've written down. I'm like, yes,
Really?
I'm hitting
Well,
all
it
the
was
points right
Bridget's one of Bridget's favorite as
Yeah,
well.
it
So
was.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get you guys to talk about that.
I haven't watched it in a while. I'll probably have to rewatch it, but I remember enjoying how it was paced and
Yeah.
how the tension was built in like a sinister
stealing
yet
all
funny
my
way. Sorry, Bridget.
That's okay.
I don't remember. Do you have the actors' names there?
Yes. So it's Daniel Kaluuya and Alison Williams.
Yeah. The main guy was Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really good for the role, and
He was perfect for it.
Yeah.
I think the comedy aspect I'm getting at is those brief moments interspersed within the film where it was just going from tension to really hilarious.
Well, like
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
there was
exactly.
there was his best friend, and he
Yeah.
was like the comic relief side
Yeah.
character,
Yeah,
wasn't
he was.
But he was
Um,
amazing.
Yeah, he was. It was very, and just the social commentary of that film was. It's something that I guess hasn't really been made before, and it's just so good to see. Jordan Peele being able to write something that's sort of relevant to today's
Yeah.
society.
Yeah, I thought it was
with-
a great piece of social commentary because it was sort of done in a way that didn't feel condescending, but
Yeah.
it was really like
Yeah.
terrifying and confronting.
Well, I
you
think
know?
what makes a good social commentary and horror is because you see some of the events in the film, like when he gets stopped by that police guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see it happening.
yeah,
You can see
exactly.
that scenario playing out in real life.
Yeah, but
and that's
then-
the horrifying part about it.
But then with other parts of it as well, because like of course it's a horror film, and so some elements are going to be exaggerated from the norm. Like not every person experiences that
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
But it still does I think a fantastic job of exploring some of the underlying attitudes and prejudices that people still hold towards race, and the way that can sort of like accumulate and like result in these severely drastic, like horrific actions. I feel like by taking it a step further, it was really powerful.
And
I
also,
think.
amongst that, just the overall like twists in using those like the social commentary.
Yeah.
Like during the film, before the reveal, I was thinking, damn it, it's just a film about rich white people killing black people, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what they
Yeah.
were painting it to be. And then the twist is it's kind of like a bittersweet thing because the reason they were taking black people is because they're better.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're like,
Yeah.
what?
So you're like, wait, hang on a minute. Like, but it kind of does reflect, in a way, like race relations in America, because at the same time as like oppressing them, they want to like take parts of their
Take parts, I
culture
know.
that they like and
There's
like
so many
exploit their
layers,
traits. So
I
it's
know.
like, do they love them? Do they hate them? Like,
Yeah.
it's
There's so much.
yeah.
That's why I think it was such a
subtext.
great film.
It's so good.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele is just amazing
Oh, God.
as well. I think
I think he's a
I
genius
think he-
after watching
yeah.
this. You know?
I think he proved himself, like just with this alone, that he's a very talented writer.
yeah, but that remains on top 3 of 2017.
Is there anything else you wanted to add with that, Bridget? Just to like send it off, I guess.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to quickly talk about the amount of symbolism in it as well, because
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty outstanding, because I remember reading articles afterwards about, like, top whatever things that you missed in
Get Out.
and, and
And the
then
thumbnail's like a red arrow pointing
Yeah,
to something.
with a
on the
circle.
screen.
And it's
yeah. Actually, I think it was a BuzzFeed article.
Oh, no.
Even better. But yeah, and like figuring out what some of the motifs meant, and I thought, yeah, it was pretty much genius. But it's like, it's one of those films as well that I will constantly reference to my friends who I went and saw it with, and like I kept thinking about it afterwards, and I did more research on, and I watched, countless video essays on it and things like that. And so I feel like that kind of proves that, it had some sort of impact on me, and and I guess that's why it's in my top 3, is because I kept thinking about it afterwards. I feel like, I do want to watch it again, but the reason that I didn't watch it again instantly is because I sort of felt satisfied with it. I felt like I don't need to see it again because it was so good the first time.
Speaking of
Segues.
what you were saying, Bridget, how you
yeah.
didn't think you needed to see it multiple times.
Yeah.
Another film on my list, I felt like I had to see another time just to really like appreciate it more, and just I was right. I definitely did, and that film is Blade Runner 2049. If you've seen my short little 4-minute video on it, you know that I was very conflicted on it, and it's one of those films that I definitely still don't think isn't for everyone. It's a 3-hour sort of immersive film. I guess that's how I have to describe it. Like, you can't...
Experience.
Yeah, it's an experience. And I think the best way you can watch it is in a cinema. Because it just sucks you in. And I think it's better if you're able to let yourself be sucked into a world for 3 hours without checking your watch or worrying about your day, or like when you need to feed your cat or whatever, and having to worry about it, because it's long. It's 3 hours, but it's damn good when you look back on it. Like, seriously, it is. It's
damn good.
It is. When you look back on it, it's like a masterpiece in how it's constructed from a technical level and just a story level. And it's just, it feels also at sometimes, this pacing is slow to sort of get you sucked into this, because it's almost at times like you feel like you're watching events play out in real time. Like, not as if you were watching a movie. It stars Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford.
Directed by?
And it's directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did Arrival, Sicario. He's also done Prisoners and Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal to go. I think you've seen that one. Yeah, just everything. The colors, it's just vibrant. It looks really damn good. And it's, oh my god, I could go on about how good it looked forever,
it's like the 5th time you've said
damn good.
It's so good. It is.
So, Kyle, what did you think about this? Oh, damn good.
Yes, and the story is, I love how the story had surprises in it, because the trailers marketed it as an action movie, but they didn't give anything away. They kept a lot of it secretive. It really pays off, because I like walking into a cinema sort of like interested in the movie, but not sure what story beats are going to be there. And they're, right even from the very beginning, you're learning things that weren't revealed to you in the trailer, and it's like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, I still need to see it. I remember you were telling me that I should really see it.
I think both of you should go see it, but I don't know. That's the thing. I liked it the first time I went, but I was conflicted. But I loved it the second time around. I think the second time around, it felt like an hour had gone by, but I really appreciated it. But yeah, I do think both of you should go see it, but the question is whether you'll like it or not. It helps if you watch the first Blade Runner as well, but I don't think it's essential, because I definitely think that 2049 is much better than the original Blade Runner. I think the story is very loose, in the first one. That's the difference between the first and the second, is that the story in the second one is very interesting. It expands upon what the first one did and makes it better. So yeah, Blade Runner 2049, damn good. Damn good,
Kyle's,
if I do say so myself.
Good seal of approval, like a branded stamp.
Yeah, it's like a branded like
burn into the movie.
Yeah. Instead of you know how they advertise on movies now, it's like certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Kyle's
damn good.
Certificate.
I just imagine that sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, damn good. Go see it. Definitely not for everyone, though. Just keep an open mind, and hopefully you'll like it. Anyway, Bridget, what was your last one that you had?
So the last one in my top 3 was Bad Genius, and it's a Thai film. It's completely in Thai, so we watched it with English subtitles. So I'm sorry if I butcher the pronunciation of these, but it's directed by Natawut Punpiriya, and it stars Chutamon Cheong Charoen Sukian. You say that again.
She definitely.
I say that again.
She definitely screwed that up.
Do you see how many letters are in that name? That's a last name.
That's an easy name. It's pronounced let me see.
Anyway, and it's starring...
Starring
Chutamon Cheong Charoen Sukian. I think that was close. And Chanon Santina Tonko. It didn't really get a lot of hype. I think it's either one of the most or the most underrated film of the year, personally. Because in my eyes, this is an example of a perfect film, or pretty much as close as you can get to perfect film, and something that I want to be able to one day say that I've made something like that. But anyway, so it's loosely based on a true story about a student, a straight A student, who pretty much makes a business out of helping her friends and school peers cheat on exams. I thought it was pretty incredible how it's loosely based on a true story, because as you're watching that, you kind of have in the back of your mind, like, you're thinking about that and going, oh my god, like, I can't believe this actually happened. It's pretty crazy. I read articles afterwards saying that apparently it's not unusual in Thailand to hear about exam frauds on the news and everything.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Although this is either the first or one of the first films to be made about it in Thailand. Yeah, so I actually watched this movie straight after I had my last HSC exam. Like, I went out that night and saw this movie. So I kind of still had those exam nerves, even though it was over. I was still trying to, like, shake them off. So I feel like that really added to my experience of the film, because, oh my god, the tension that you feel when they're trying to sneak answers to each other in the classroom, it is off the charts. It's crazy. I think what was really cool about it is that there were so many like innovative and inventive ways of getting the answers to each other, because they have to do it during the test, because they don't see the test beforehand or anything. The main character, Lynn, puts like, she writes the answers on an eraser and then slips that down into her shoe and then passes the shoe to her friend, who then swaps her shoe and kicks it back to her, and then takes the eraser out of the shoe and then writes down the answers from that. So
sounds like a Tom and Jerry trap or something.
Yeah.
It's so cool though. And then
What kind of genre is it? Like, is
it's kind of like a heist movie in the way that it's
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
It's really cool.
It
like,
sounds like it is.
yeah. It's just really fun. It's just a really fun
Sounds
movie. It's
like
really
the
flashy.
high school version of Mission Impossible.
Like
Ocean's
it kind
11, but
Yeah,
school
yeah,
version.
true.
It kind of is, yeah, because it is shot like a flashy heist movie. So anyway, in that eraser swapping shoes sequence or whatever, first of all, it stressed me out a lot. But I thought it was awesome how the director was able to create such high levels of tension. When you think about it, the stakes are relatively low. At this stage, it was just a pop quiz. So like, what's the worst that can even happen, I guess, in that scenario? Like, it's not like the world is going to end. But the way that the scene is shot and edited makes it feel like that could happen. That being said, it's not melodramatic at all. It feels like totally justified. I feel like it perfectly captures the feeling of not wanting to get caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing.
That's interesting to me, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like definitely seeing it straight after I'd done my last HSC exam, I thought that was a really good time to see it.
You're like, damn, why didn't I think of that?
Oh, the shoe tactic.
Damn, why didn't I just kick my shoe and put the eraser in? Damn.
But honestly, I feel like more people need to see this movie, because it is so fun and just such a good movie. The characters are so well developed, but in a way that it doesn't detract from the importance of the plot. It adds to it significantly. You really do feel the stresses of like, oh god, what if they get caught out? And yeah, it does a really good job of making sure it emphasizes what the consequences will be. Highly recommend it. It'd be pretty hard to not like this movie. I'm just gonna say.
Would you
It's
give
pretty
it
good.
Kyle's stamp of damn?
Oh yeah, shut up.
I can't
Damn
give
good.
out
Oh, you
that
can't
stamp.
issue them.
Yeah.
Only Kyle
I
can.
can give the damn good stamp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, Tagore, let's talk about your last film, which was...
Well, we can't do a podcast without talking about a superhero movie.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true.
My last film would be Logan, mainly because it was the first Wolverine movie to be a Wolverine movie. You know,
If that makes any
Right.
sense.
it should make sense to the general
getcha.
public.
Yeah, I think I get what you
The
mean.
whole of X-Men, no blood, no gore, PG, blah blah blah. And Logan comes along. The first scene is like a guy's hand getting cut
Ugh.
in half.
Yeah.
That's what Wolverine was supposed to be from the beginning.
I mean, he's got knives on his hands.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
think
So
they
it-
would use that.
It makes sense.
For the record, I have not seen the movie.
Wow. Then get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh! But yeah, I appreciated the tone they had going for it. It was this sort of somber farewell to this hero, and it was different as a superhero movie because it put things into a different perspective.
Yeah, I was
You know?
gonna say, like, apart from being a movie about a hero, it was like one of the first game changer superhero movies to stop following that A to B
Sort of formula.
Template.
that a lot
Yeah.
of origin
I mean,
superhero movies have.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it
it
was
wasn't.
like a opposite, like a farewell
It
story.
was
Oh,
like It was basically saying goodbye to Hugh Jackman because that was his final Wolverine movie. They do him justice and they say goodbye to him pretty well, I think.
Cool.
And I like how it put things in perspective. You know, you have that scene when they're in the hotel room with X-23, I think her name was. What's her name? The little kid.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And Logan and Xavier and stuff, and they're in the hotel and they're looking at the X-Men comic books, and Wolverine has that scene where he's like, maybe all this stuff happened, half of it did, but not like this.
Yeah,
you know, and it sort of makes you think about, what about the other movies that have happened in the previous X-Men universe?
Well,
is this sort of this more realistic look at it? It's just seeing all the different characters and how tragic and
ruined their lives have become.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally, the X-Men universe still confuses me, like the movies.
Oh, it should. It should. If it doesn't confuse you,
if
it doesn't confuse you, then you must, have an IQ of a Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty fan. Oh my god, we all went there.
But as a standalone film, Logan, like, spectacular in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, to see all their lives become shattered, and it's not happy superheroes fighting for the good. It's about Logan protecting a girl, protecting Xavier, who's dying, who's basically passing away, and just trying to save, like, the new generation of mutants or something, was it?
You talked about Xavier just then, and it's interesting what they did with him, because his mind... Imagine that, he's one of the world's greatest minds. He has that power to, like, tap into other people's minds and talk to them and all that. Imagine if something like that went out of control, and that's what they present. It's not apparent, but they subtly hint that he's the one who killed all the X-Men.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
I think,
he is.
In the comics, because he has Alzheimer's.
Yeah, in this movie.
In the world's powerful...
Yeah, he has this degenerative disorder with his mind where it's sort of like he can't help but have these sort of attacks where his mind sort of goes out of control.
Yeah, so in those scenes where basically the whole world is in a seizure...
Yeah.
And those scenes are like the most heart-beating, heart-pounding scenes for me to watch, because you're like, what's going to happen? Is the whole world just going to die?
The only thing I thought was a bit dumb was he has a clone, and
watching
that I was like, this is where it's going to a bit too comic booky when they established that sort of realistic, darker sort of tone, and they bring in his clone, and
they could have made it like another guy.
Yeah, they could have made it some other mutant person, but
so the Logan's based on the comic Old Man Logan,
but very loosely
because the original comic has him meeting people like Hulk and Deadpool and stuff, I think. But the story that they made from it, I thought was really good. Also, the last scene, basically, he sacrificed his life because he injected him with the stuff to save the kids. And basically, he had a decision to just let them be or fight for what he thinks is good.
Well, fight for the new generation.
Yeah, like, because he's always torn. He's always had a bad history. He's been alive for, like, thousands of years.
Yeah, well, he's always had that conflict, I guess, within him. Like, even from the first movie was, or the first X-Men movie was, he was that lone wolf sort of character, and
to see him connect,
become part of a family, and then at the end of this film, he sort of sacrifices himself for the chance for these new people to start a family.
I think we've talked about Logan enough, but basically, to sum it up, I really liked it because, one, it was different from a conventional superhero movie. Two, because it's what it was supposed to be, like, since from day one. Wolverine slasher. And three, like, just the overall emotional story.
Alright.
So, on that segue, let's move to your last film.
My last film of, the last of my best films of 2017 is The Big Sick. Have you guys heard of that one?
Mm-hmm. I know it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So, the thing about it, which was really interesting, is that it's based on a true story. I didn't realize it was based on a true story until credits were playing and they're like, oh, look, this is the real guys, which sort of makes it very interesting. It's a romantic drama / comedy, and it's about this Muslim guy, and he gets into a relationship with an American white girl, and they start dating, but the thing with his parents, though, is that they want him to marry a Pakistani girl. It's less about the dating sort of things and more about this clash of culture. It's sort of hard, I guess, for us who are able to choose our partners and everything to understand that the reason he would go with an arranged marriage is out of respect for his family and their wishes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to upset them at all. But also he's torn because, his parents don't know that his white girlfriend exists and that he's dating her. It's very interesting to see that, and it sort of subverts the expectations because she gets put into a coma about, you know, like the turning point of the movie, and he's left with her parents, and it's sort of like he has this connection with her parents and he sees how she was raised, and it's just very interesting. Like I said, it's this clash of culture that you have, you know, this one family with their own
dating views,
views and beliefs, and then this other family who, I don't know, just a different view of the same thing, of
culture
dating.
Clash.
Yeah, it's a culture clash, and that's the most interesting part about the movie. And also, it's very funny. Ray Romano's in it. He plays the
Ray Romano.
he plays the white girl's dad, and his voice is amazing. But he's not just a great. He's not just a great comedic actor. He doesn't just do that in this movie. He proves that he's able to have some dramatic scenes here, and he can hold his own against, you know, some of the other actors and actresses, I can't remember what their names are in this room, who, you know, are very good. It's got this because the main guy in the movie, he's a stand-up comedian. So the film just comes from a very comedic point of view. But they don't brush everything off with comedy. It's got some sad moments. Best thing about it is that, you know, you realize that it's all true. And I think the real guy and his girlfriend, they wrote the script together. It's very interesting to see how they were able to both work on their own story and present that as a film, which I think is quite inspiring, actually. Definitely check The Big Sick out. I think it's more than your standard rom-com. It's one of my favorites just because of that different sort of style that it has, and its culture clash that it presents in the movie, and the characters, or I guess the people that it portrays in the movie, because they're real, are very likable. They have flaws, and the movie is just well developed, and it's one of my favorites of 2017.
And what do you give it?
I give it my damn good seal of approval.
Very good.
You made me go there.
I was waiting for it.
You made me go there.
You didn't. I had to tell you to do it.
Yeah, true. With all that, it's pretty interesting to see what you guys thought were your favorite movies of 2017. Movies like Get Out, Logan, and all those. I think they're the ones that we like because they are different. They're different from the norm. They don't pander so much to audiences.
It shows to see that we're tired of seeing the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
There were a lot of passion projects last year. Like,
especially Get Out, I think,
like
is a...
Get Out and even like
Baby Driver, yeah.
And they're well deserved.
Exactly.
They deserve the success they've gathered.
Time will tell when it comes Oscar season.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
That'll
see
be interesting
when they
to
win
see.
the awards, yeah.
Yeah. Unless they pull a goddamn Suicide Squad win. Wait, what was it? Emmy Award winning Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the Oscar Academy Award.
It was
Academy
Academy
Awards,
Award,
yeah.
The
yeah.
Academy
for
Award for hair and
hair
makeup.
makeup.
Except there were films that were much more deserving of it.
Yeah.
Let's not go.
Triggered. For another podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, next time.
Wait, you're not going to end it, are you?